Hello, everybody.
Hey, Larry.
Mike, I hear you, but I don't see you.
Okay, it's just maybe starting up. Let me see here. Up, there we go. Okay.
Oh, you're better looking now.
And well, I don't know about that.
Well, yes, you do. I just told you.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I don't want to disagree with you, but Rolf looks like he's all ready to go. He looks like he's ready for seriousness. Okay. Let's see.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Shimmy, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good.
All right, let's see. Hey, Larry.
Yeah, Jimmy.
How are you, Rob? Hi, Natalie. Hi, Jim. Elena.
Natalie.
All right, looks like a full house other than Versailles, maybe.
Versailles.
Let me see if he's. Yep, no. Okay. Hi, Juan. I know.
How are you, Shemi?
Hi, Nico. I'm good, Juan. Thank you. I hope you're well. All right. You guys are all ready?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about me being late for a minute. All right, Elena, would you do the roll call for us, please? Is she here? Elena, can you do the roll call for us by any chance?
Yeah,
Oh.
sorry, my computer cut out.
Oh, no worries. I just want to make sure you're still here with
Great. Chairman Shlomo?
us. Present. Here.
Director Michael Graham?
Here.
Director Larry?
I think she might have a small difficulty. How about I'll do it? I'm here. Larry?
Here.
Okay. Rolf? Mike?
Here.
All right. Barsadi is not here. Just need to approval of the agenda. Someone want to do that?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Is there a second?
Second.
That would be roll. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, that
Aye.
would be 4-0. I'm just gonna take a couple notes here real quick, just so, because I don't see Elena is not back yet.
Elena is going to hang out with me for the rest of the meeting. She doesn't know what's going on with her computer, okay?
You got it. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we did the roll call, Elena, and we approved the agenda and 4-0. Reports, Nicole, would you like to start?
Sure, I don't have mine up right now. I don't see a lot going on because it's January. We only have 1 month that is showing. Does anyone have any questions?
Um, hmm. I don't, but give me about 30 seconds.
Operating fund, 856,000, conservation trust, 11,000, total 867,000. So that's for her report, looks good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Any questions for Nicole?
No,
I had one question, and that was the insurance, that errors and omissions insurance. Did it really double almost?
Well, the price of the bridge was only $1 million in there, and so the price of the bridge now is about 2 million according to what we have learned. So yes, it has increased.
Yeah, I had asked Nicole about that, Mike, and we were carrying $1 million worth of insurance, and now we're carrying 2 million. Which seems to
All
make
right.
sense.
Did we, and who do we buy the insurance from?
It's,
Do we have to,
I want to say special districts, but
yeah, it's a special districts pool.
okay,
it's a bunch of special districts that go in. They're all some type of government entity, and then they base it on all of the claims that come out. And if there is money left over at the end of the year, we actually get some back.
okay. All righty, thanks.
Any other questions for Nicole? All right, thank you, Nicole. We appreciate it. Parking report, James.
How's it going, everybody? So it's pretty much the same standard report. The only change that I added was the one that Mike had requested. At least I think it was Mike, but at the bottom of the revenue report, you'll see the pay station versus the mobile pay transactions. Just so you can get an idea of the number of transactions and the percentage.
And that's just in our lots, James?
That's just your parking lots, both Smishny and Wichita.
Awesome, thank you. Thanks for asking that, Mike.
Thank you.
So
What- I
we're
was-
looking
I
at
was
a
a little
decrease
con-
in January?
Yeah, I was a little confused about the thing where it says the first little chart you have there where it has January. It says 2023, 11,000, 24, 10,000, but then down below it says total revenue of 22,000. Somehow I got confused there.
Are you comparing the total revenue in the chart in the report to the chart? Is that what's
Yeah,
okay? So from what I understand with the chart, that's just pay station revenue. So I don't know if that's what you want. That's what it was last year. So I just kind of reused the same chart as last year. So the chart just shows pay station revenue. Or I guess
We
just
would
pay to park revenue. So it does both the text to
so
pay
that
and
doesn't
motion.
include the permit sales, is that?
Yes, so it
That
doesn't
was-
include the permit
okay.
sales. It was just whatever revenue
Alright.
you're bringing in from the paid parking.
Okay,
I mean, I can definitely change that if that's
Oh,
what you guys
no,
would
no,
like to
that's
see,
okay.
but-
I just was, that's where I was a bit confused. So
Okay.
that doesn't include the, the permit.
Yeah, it doesn't include the permit sales. It's just the pay to park revenue.
Okay. Okay,
But in January of last year, it was the same. It was only the pay to park. It wasn't with the permit as well.
Yes, that's correct.
I would think we want to know the total of everything.
Yeah.
But I'll ask everyone. What do you guys think? You guys
well,
want to just see the pay to park or
well, when you look at the explanation down below, then it all kind of makes, it's all broken out. It all kind of makes sense then.
okay with the total permit sales?
Yeah, I'd say keep it the way it is.
Is that number right, James? Total permit sales 12,210
Yes, that's correct.
for
That was just for January. So these are all the permit renewals for the year.
Okay,
At
did
least
want
up
to
to this
ask
point.
you, yeah, I'm okay with it staying the way it is. I mean, because the explanation is there. I mean, I understand that. I did want to ask about the citations though. What kind of citations are those? That was a whole bunch of them for January.
Yeah, so we've been uh more or less uh trying to uh prioritize enforcement in our lots a little bit more. So it's just better staffing and more emphasis. Because the enforcement, majority of our enforcement was on street and we weren't getting enough through the parking lots. So it's a combination of better staffing and just overall more checks.
I
But
I was
what,
under the impression, James, that January there were no citations in the lots because we give a 30-day kind of a grace period. Is that not
Uh,
to get the new permits? Is that not it?
so we do warnings pretty much so we give January to renew. And then for the first week of February we do warnings, and then after that it's straight tickets.
but what kind of citations were there? When I'd asked that, the reason I ask is when I'd asked that last year one time, over half the citations were for license plate violations. And that's why I was wondering what kind of citations you've got here.
Yeah, I can do a quick report and see if I can find that out for you.
Okay. You know, were they not paying to park? Were they past the time that they had paid for, or were they license plate violations? Because
I think he's looking it up, Larry.
okay.
You know, one thought I've got is that I don't think we have employees in the lot as much as we did. And maybe
That's also
the
likely a
employee-
factor as well.
maybe the employees prevented some of the violations before they happened, but frankly, it looks to me like a pretty good deal to not have that many employees there because you have to pay them. And even if we miss a few people, we're probably further ahead. But maybe James is ready to go. I don't know.
Yeah, I was able to get that report run real quick. So looks like 17 of those were for expired meter. And then 17 were proof of registration. And it looks like we've got quite a few mistakes on there. So one of our newer enforcement officers may have been writing the wrong citation, but I think they were probably for expired permits. But they're written to the wrong type. So it's for RPP permits, 15 of those were written. So I'm assuming I'll have to look into that and see who's writing those and correct that. But so 15 of those are invalid. So if you were to take that total citations I gave you,
Okay, I wonder, again, here it is, half of them were for violations in our lot, the other half were things that had nothing to do with us. They're license plate violations, registration violations. I wonder if you could, in future, document that for us. How many of the violations, citations had to do with our lot? And
sure.
how many had to do nothing with our lot?
Okay.
You know,
Yeah, I
I'm
can-
really curious about that because it looks like from seeing that, it looks like, gosh, a lot of people were in violation. Whereas in reality, if only 17 out of the 2,100 transactions were actually lot violations, that's a pretty small percentage.
Less than 1%.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's really what I'm getting at. What I really am, that's the figure I'm interested in. How many people are violating our parking regulations?
So we can just ask James for our next, from now on, if you could, when you write the total citations, to write underneath, total of 51. Out of the 51, how many were each one? Expired meter, registration, and so on. If you could, please.
Yeah, that's real easy to do. It's just a report to be run that already has everything itemized for each lot. So I will just provide that on the next one.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I
All right,
do have a question about the permits, actually. Hey, James, when I purchased the permits for my employees not far ago, not long time ago, you told me that Wichita and Canyon are together. Is that correct?
So they're the same pass and the permit is valid for both. So if one happens to be full, the other one can be used as kind of like an overflow. And pretty much the way that we process these is we have them fill out the application. If they indicate that their primary use is Cannon lot, we sell it as a Cannon lot permit. If they indicate primary use being Wichita or Smishny, we sell it as one of those two. And so that's where we're at with how we process those.
Got it. I think for future, I think we need to do it separate. I mean, it's kind of, I wouldn't know how you it just doesn't make sense as far as deciding who gets the permit money. It just doesn't. It made more sense when Wichita and Smishny had a tag, and Cannon was totally different.
Okay. Yeah.
Just, I mean, for this year, it seems like it's a done deal. So let me ask you a question. Out of the total permits of 12,210, that's what we brought in January. Is that correct?
Yes, and that was pretty close to your numbers for last year. I want to say it was off by like 50 to 100. I could tell you exactly. I'd have to.
Could you tell me how much out of the 12,210 was Metro money, please?
So of of what I listed here, that's all Metro.
That is all Metro, 12,210.
Yes, that's everything that was sold as a Wichita horse commissioning permit.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep.
Any other question for James?
I've got a question, I guess, is, didn't the city give out some free permits for Canyon Lot?
Not for Canyon Lot, it was for the Canyon Avenue RPP that's up in the 400 through 600 block of Canyon Ave. And those were basically non-resident passes that were more or less a stipulation of implementing the RPP up there. So they wanted the folks that were using the parking up there regularly, such as employees and stuff like that, to have an opportunity to be able to still park up there. And without knowing what the occupancy would look like, the initial amount of permits that were allocated for that purpose were 20. And we have sold out of those.
Well, that makes a lot more sense than the email I read from the chamber originally. I must have misread it because somehow I thought those permits were for the Canyon Lot, not for like Upper Canyon. So that's a pretty good idea. You guys could probably do some of that over on Grand Avenue.
Yeah, and that's an idea that has come up and something that we are gonna be looking at. Because the idea is to utilize the parking that we do have available to its fullest. Because we've got a bunch of areas that are sitting empty because we've implemented an RPP. And it's, at least in my opinion, that we should look at opening more of that up if it's available.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. Thanks, James.
Anything else for James? All right, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
No problem.
Mobility and Parking Board report. Rolf, were you there? Are you guys meeting? Are they meeting?
Yeah. We did meet, had a very long meeting and very productive, but I think I'd let the city probably do that report instead of myself. I'm more of a passive bystander.
Okay. Juan?
Yeah, Shammy, I apologize. I'm having trouble with my camera and speaker. Can you repeat that?
Is there a Mobility and Parking Board report? What you guys met? Is there anything that you guys are
Yeah,
working
we
on?
met. Yeah, our main focus is on microtransit, and we're going to be having a presentation on March 12th. And in addition to our trams, what we're going to be doing is we're going to start testing it out as a test pilot. For this is starting in March. So one of the things that, looking at the routes, everybody voted unanimously to have it tested out from the pool area down to the Ruxton and all the way back. So before we started in the summertime, in combination with microtransit, if we need to make any kind of adjustments, that's what we'll do. And we'll just keep testing it until we find a good route to have it. Because right now the batteries are per vehicle are lasting less than 4 hours. So we're gonna see if we use it during our peak times, and then we'll have microtransit. We'll utilize them probably after hours for those employees who get off late. And that was a report. It was mostly focused on microtransit.
And those are the 2 electric shuttles we bought, or the city bought last year.
Correct. So we have the trams. We have the 2 that with the city process that purchased, and then we have microtransit, which is a Via. The name of the company is Via, and they work with a lot of municipalities, and we're looking at 2 shuttles tested out as a pilot for 3 months just to track ridership and see how it works out. And we're gonna go to the board and do that presentation on March 12th.
Okay, and just so I kind of get it right, so there's gonna be 2 different shuttles, is that correct? One, the 2 shuttle, the electric ones, is the Via electric as well, or is that something
But
else?
the VIA is gonna be like an on-demand service, similar to the way Uber and Lyft work, but this is gonna be geared towards residents, but we're also gonna be using it for visitors and employees as well.
Who's gonna operate that?
VIA.
And
So it's
the
gonna
city
it's
is paying for it as a service?
a full-time service, yes. So it's a turnkey full-time service. So they have their own employees and their own shuttles.
So the city signed an agreement with them to operate in town? Is that what it is?
No, we're gonna go to council to see if they approve a pilot, and that's gonna be for 3 months just to see how it works, track the ridership. And if it does, and ridership is exceeding the results that we want, then we could possibly go forward and extend it.
Okay, thank you. And about the electric shuttles that last about less than 4 hours, what was the cost on those? Were those $500,000 each? Do I
No, we
remember
paid
right?
we paid for both 170,000.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. How much?
Oh, 170,000.
Okay. How long does it take to charge those fully?
Overnight, they don't take long at all.
But they can only operate for 4 hours? Less
The
than 4 hours?
Right now, we've just been testing it on the flat surface, so right now it's under 4 hours, and that's nonstop running it back and forth.
We can't even cover half a day with that.
No, so we'll have to use both of them. So that'll be kind of a total of between 6.5 hours to get that true data.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions for Juan?
Maybe you could explain that micro thing. That's a new term, a new everything to me. Who uses it? What is it and who uses it and how do you get it?
It's operated by VIA, and they work with another municipality. And it's pretty much the way Mountain Metro works, but they're an independent company. And it works similar to the way Uber and Lyft operate.
So what, you call them up and they come and
They have
get
an
you?
app. Yeah, they have an app just like Uber and Lyft does. So they'll pick you up at your residence or whatever location you're at, and you request it. Their time frame is under 50 minutes
How,
to do the pickup and drop off.
Juan, how
Via,
much-
I'm trying to look it up. It's via what? How do I look it up?
It's VIA Microtransit.
How do you spell that?
VIA?
VIA.
Right.
Yeah, and it's kind of point to point. So, and they have bubbles around it, so you only have to walk within a few feet, and there's a bubble that you can be picked up at if you do the app. So if you're sitting up Ruxton, you do the app, and it will send the car to you. And there's going to be 2 constant cars sitting somewhere, and it picks you up and then takes you somewhere and drops you off.
Huh.
So it's not a bus, it is more like Uber. And these are vans, so they could pick up more than one person at a time. Not that, that would happen much, but you can see how this could be geared for people who need to catch the bus. They could come from Crystal Hills and go catch the bus without walking too far or wherever. And So it's just within the city limits to begin with, I believe. So it's an independent company that will run this, and they will have drivers sitting with actual cars, not electric, I don't believe. And then they will just be picking you up. So
Is
it's a way to get around town. It's not to replace the bus, so it's not going to take you to downtown Colorado Springs, but it would take you to the bus. You catch the bus and continue on. So it's going to help people who have no car at all and who can't walk a long distance.
okay,
And it's also geared with people who are have ADA issues, going up hills. The shuttles hold anywhere from 5 to 10 people in these shuttles. They are hybrid shuttles that they'll be utilizing. But they'll be able to have quick access to getting into remote areas that we would have challenges with the trams that we have right now.
okay. So it's more.
And Larry, I have a presentation that we did at the map board. I'll be happy to share with everyone.
Right, so more geared towards residents than
Yep,
visitors, okay.
exactly. So it's
Right.
not something that's going to be taking, tourists from, one parking lot to the other, I don't think. I think it is a resident. I've never heard of this before, so it's all new to me too. It might be a big giant swing that the city's taking, or it might be a minor swing. I don't know. It's something that I'm not familiar with at all. It seems great, but it
Is it being
seems
used already at a
I think
different
it
town?
is all over. All different types of towns are using it.
Yeah,
And they are
me and Roy just took a trip to the city of Lone Tree because they're the ones that are currently using it right now. The city of Durango's using it, but there's a lot of municipalities that are geared towards using VIA.
And
so the rider would pay a portion, but it's still being subsidized by the city, by the parking, by the city revenues. It's not cheap by any sense, but it is allowing people to
So
leave their house, and
the writer does pay for it, huh?
some of it. There's going to be a fee, but it's kind of like the bus. That bus fee, it doesn't pay for the bus,
Yeah,
but it's just so there's going to be a fee. I don't know how much it's going to be, but somebody would be, but it's not paying for the entire amount. And I think the city's just talking about, they have to buy cars and you have to have drivers. So it's a big operation. It's not, now, like I said, it's a big swing, but if it works, it would be great. But if it doesn't, it would pretty.
And that's why we're going to test it out for. We want to try it out as a test pilot for 3 months.
okay.
So basically, the city's going to subsidize a service that competes against private enterprise.
Yeah, it is to allow people. It is, and that's what I said too. I said that's why there must be a fee to this, because I'm all for public transportation. That's why I like the bus. Now this is private almost from individual houses. So I have a problem with it because people locate close to transportation hubs. Now you can live anywhere and get basically driven anywhere you want to. But I don't know all the details. It certainly is exciting. It's a huge swing, I think, but if it works, it might be great, but it might not be. So.
And the reason we started exploring it is because there's a lot of challenges with Mountain Metro. If we want to change a route, it could take months before we make that change. Where with VIA, it's very easy. They're working under the city, and we can make any changes pretty quick. Whether it's a route, just pretty much extend the routes, hours, looking at different hours. They're very flexible with that.
Well, guys, you should definitely watch the presentations and think about it. It is something where there will be vans parked, not driving around like Uber drives around, but parked, waiting for people to call to be picked up. And during hours, it would probably be from, morning to night or something. Right? We would have people standing by to transport people around. And I don't know everything about it, but it's quite interesting. And I highly recommend you guys watch the presentation.
Did we chose already places for the van to stop?
No, that's not it. And the whole city is going to be basically covered, and there's going to be little blue bubbles where, you're going to be in a little blue bubble, and you'll only have to walk less than a minute to be picked up. So it seems, somebody who's sitting in downtown Manitou, it seems like, oh, I live here for a reason, so I don't have to be picked up. So it is one of those things I agree where we're subsidizing people to be hauled around. At the same time, I love the bus system, and I don't want to pay for Uber, but at the same time, I do want people to be able to not have to drive. I'm conflicted on the whole situation, so it's going to be interesting.
Okay. And you said presentation March 12th, is that correct?
March 12th, correct?
Any other questions for Juan? Before I just move on, is the city looking at lowering parking prices this summer, Juan?
We're tracking it, and we're comparing it to now that we have a full year, we're gonna be comparing the prices to the previous year.
So not looking to lower it, just looking to match it to last year?
Recently we just compared to our rates that we started in January from last January, and because of the comparison, we ended up lowering the rates this year for this quarter, which is January, February, and March. And then at the end of March, we'll look at the rates again from the previous quarter of last year to determine those rates. So they could be lower, or we can be increasing them. It just depends on the data that we
Okay.
get, and then compare it to the previous quarter of last year.
Another question for you is, the parking report looks different than usual. We used to get the parking report, which is showing the whole parking report for the whole town, including the city, the street, and the street and the lot, the canyon lot. Is there a reason why I'm looking just at overall Wichita lot and Smishny? Is that,
So I must have just forgot to scan that in. I have it. I can send it out to you guys after the meeting.
okay, that would be awesome. I appreciate it.
Yep, no problem.
I'd like to compare our situation when I see that we are in a decrease or an increase, but right now it's a decrease. I'd like to know if it's overall or if it's something that we're doing wrong. And if it's something we're doing wrong, I'd like to make adjustment and correct it.
Sure. And I can get that to you immediately after the meeting. As I said, I've got those numbers already. I already have that report.
That's great. I love the on-street parking and then Hiawatha. So it's all together, but separated, but I love to see that too.
It'll be the same one that's normally in there. I hadn't provided. It'll have everything broken down in there for you.
Thank you, James.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Shemi, one thing I did want to mention at our last night's council meeting, one of the board members were suggesting that we look at all of our lots, including the Metro District lots, to look at the lighting, because there's been a lot of concerns, where they're too dark.
Yes.
And it could be so we're looking at our lots, but I just wanted to also relay that information to you guys.
Okay, that issue came up a little bit earlier last summer, be honest with you, with a business owner that her daughter was walking and it was really dark. I've asked Roy to see if you guys can change the lighting or the actual light bulbs to make it a little bit brighter. That's when the issue got stuck. It went back and forth with Colorado Springs Utilities, I believe. They came out there. they replaced, I think they replaced one bulb. But the other issue was, if we wanted to go brighter, then the residents are complaining that there's too much light coming through their windows. So we kind of left it alone. So that's something that already came up. I just want to let you know.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Are you guys looking at adding more light, like places that with light posts, or?
Yeah, we're gonna take a look at that for all of our locations, and
Okay.
we'll determine that if it needs more lighting or just an increase. So we'll take a look at that.
Okay, sounds good. If you guys are meeting somebody out there at the Wichita lot or the Smishny, I'd like to know and meet you as well.
Sure, I'll reach out to you.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay, thank you. Thanks for the report, Juan. All right, just all business continued. There is an update on that purchase of the property down the road. There was several testing that were done, but not, they couldn't get it on time. We had to move closing. Right now it's towards the end of the month. We're still waiting for several reports. And when we get the reports, I'll forward it to everyone and we can discuss. But right now, instead of closing on the 13th, it's towards the end of February at least. So that's the only update I have on that property. I believe there is small issues. Roy emailed me about some people just staying there. I guess they're not supposed to. I instructed Roy to do whatever the law requires. He asked when we're closing. I gave him the information about not being able to close on the 13th, probably about 2 weeks from now, hopefully. And that's where we're at. I'm not sure what the city's gonna, if the city's gonna do anything over there or not. That's on them. But just wanted to update you guys on that. Any questions about that?
Well, the slip of 2 weeks, is it something to be concerned about, or is it just normal closing, or?
It's not something to be concerned about. Be honest with you, I've closed on several building properties myself, which that happened as well. Sometimes, if you have like an inspection, or if you have an asbestos inspection or a survey, if they cannot show up on time, or like we had a span of the main reason was because there was a span of about a week of really, really cold weather. If you guys remember, it put everything behind, and they're kind of struggling. They were struggling. The surveyor was struggling as well, to get there and get everything done and give us the reports. They're hoping that we will have the reports by next week sometime. So either way, we needed to move closing. We're still under contract, of course. So not a concern yet. Any other questions? All right. Any public comment? I don't think we have public. Natalie, anything to say before I see you're here? I just want to make sure.
Yeah, no, I think Juan covered it, again, the question regarding lighting in the parking lots. Particularly as we're working on employee parking and employees are getting home or getting back to their cars in the dark.
Is there
yeah,
a specific lot we're looking at for employee
no, this is a
parking?
citywide, yeah, this will be citywide coordination, I think, and Juan can go into that if you'd like, but it's gonna literally take a village, right, to figure out where everybody can go and make it work.
Sure.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else. Yeah, the maps meeting, again, Rolf mentioned a lot was covered. I wasn't able to make that meeting, but I just feel like there are a lot of conversations going, but a lot about around the micro mobility piece. So
Okay, all right, thanks for being here. Anything else, you guys, before I adjourn? All right, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Okay,
Thank you.
Nice.
bye now.
Bye-bye.